this is Lindy, and this is Discussion Board 7. Today, I'm going to talk about Simonson's equivalency theory. And the theory states that distance education is not identical to traditional, but it is equivalent. So it's the idea that that they're different, but yet the education that they're receiving is equivalent. So the basis for this theory is that learning experiences should be equivalent rather than identical, regardless of whether the learner is in a traditional or distant setting. It was also stated with Simonson that learning at a distance and learning locally are fundamentally different, which obviously we've seen that that's true, that a typical classroom is not the same as distance education, not even in the way that we deliver the content. So equivalency theory communicates that the design for distance learners is different, however, equivalent in the experience and the outcomes, although there's some research out there that shows that the outcomes are TBD right now. The development of distance learning along that topic, Simonson described, I read an article of his in which he described that a triangle and a square that had the same area are considered equivalent, although they're very different in their geometrical shapes. So when planning and developing a distance learning program, we want to make sure that the learner is receiving the same area, although they're completely different shapes. And so we want to make sure that their standards are still being met and that the outcome is still the same, that they're still learning the same, but the way that we go about teaching that information can look a little bit different. And so when planning and developing, we need to be aware that all students are different. And that's even the same in a brick and mortar classroom. So really, regardless, just as educators in general, we need to be aware of the fact that everything needs to be catered to our student and who our student is, and that everything is not going to look the same, and that they will look different for each student, not just in the classroom but and distant, but their outcomes still need to be similar. And the last part that I wanted to end with is another piece from Simonson, and it says, an environment in which technology, society, economics, politics, and approaches to learning are all in transition suggests that theories, definitions, and the practice of distance education will continue to be contested. This theme of change will both challenge and motivate distance educators and researchers as they strive to understand and develop effective ways to meet the needs of learners around the world. And I think this is true also with just a typical classroom. Like, everything is constantly changing, and we're always going to have to regenerate new ideas and who our humans are and these souls in our classroom that we're trying to teach. So, thank you.